It's every parent's worst nightmare, a child vanishing without a trace in one of the most remote corners of Australia. 4-year-old Gus Lamont disappeared from his family's property in the South Australian outback, and months later, there's still no sign of him. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update as this heartbreaking case continues to unfold. From the very start, the disappearance of Gus Lamont has shaken South Australia to its core. Police, volunteers, and the entire community have poured their hearts into the search. But as days turn to weeks and weeks to months, the story has become one of the most haunting mysteries the region has ever seen. According to South Australia Police and Task Force Horizon, the Lamont family has cooperated fully since the very first day. Detectives have had complete access to communication records, property details, and every bit of information the family could provide. Investigators have repeatedly emphasized that there's no indication of foul play within the household, a statement they made clear time and time again. Behind the scenes, officers maintain constant contact with Gus's parents, briefing them on each operational update. Yet despite their openness and support, the silence surrounding this case grows heavier by the day. For the Lamonts, each sunrise brings a fresh wave of waiting, a mix of faith, fear, and a quiet kind of strength that only families of the missing truly understand. As of late October 2025, the search for Gus Lamont stands as one of the largest and most exhausting operations in South Australian history. The latest confirmed effort covered nearly 100 kilometers around Oak Park Station, the family's remote property deep in the far north. Over 4 relentless days, specialist police units, SES volunteers, and aerial teams worked side by side. Drones equipped with infrared and thermal cameras scanned the ground from above, while searchers combed through dense brush and dry creek bed below. Mounted patrols and 4-wheel drive units pushed across rough terrain, fighting heat, wind, and dust. But in the end, still no trace. The land itself has become the investigation's toughest adversary. Oak Park Station sits in a brutal stretch of outback country, harsh winds, searing days, freezing nights, and almost no vegetation. Dust storms are common, and the earth shifts so easily that footprints vanish within hours. Even experienced officers admit that every hour out there feels like 10 somewhere else. Isolation makes it worse. The property lies hours from the nearest town, with endless dirt roads and little to no cell service. Coordinating teams over such a vast expanse is a logistical nightmare. Even the Australian Defence Force, which assisted early on, described conditions as some of the hardest they've ever faced. As the weeks dragged on, the mission itself began to change. What started as a desperate rescue turned into a recovery, not a loss of hope, but a shift toward reality. Investigators now focus on data analysis, GPS logs, drone footage, communication records, and behavioral modeling that might suggest how a small child could have moved through the area. Still, nothing tangible has surfaced. Not a piece of clothing, not a footprint, not a single confirmed clue. Independent reviews have confirmed that the search followed national best practice standards. No procedural errors, no missed zones, no neglected leads. The only constant enemy is the environment itself, vast, unpredictable, and merciless. One volunteer summed it up perfectly. You can look straight at something out there and still not see it until you're standing right over it. For many searchers, locals who've worked this land for decades, the emotional toll is immense. They know the terrain. They know how unforgiving it can be. Yet they return again and again, driven by compassion and the unspoken promise that no child will be forgotten. Police have now confirmed that any future searches will be more targeted, smaller, data-driven operations, triggered only by credible new information. For now, the investigation continues behind the scenes. Every piece of footage, every GPS ping, every environmental factor is being re-examined. But even as investigators dig deeper, one haunting truth remains. There is nothing. That emptiness, the total absence of physical evidence, has turned this case into one of the most puzzling disappearances South Australia has ever seen. For detectives, it's a rare kind of torment, a case where everything was done right, yet nothing is found. To address public questions, police ordered an independent review of the search. The verdict was clear. The operation was executed correctly and comprehensively. No mistakes, no oversights, just a vast wilderness that refuses to give up its secrets. Experts now believe that the environment itself likely erased early traces, wind, dust, and fluctuating temperatures that shift from scorching to freezing within hours. Even light rain or a strong gust could have scattered fragile evidence before anyone arrived. In the meantime, investigators are using advanced data reconstruction, mapping terrain, simulating possible movement paths, and running child behavior algorithms designed to predict how a lost child might respond to fear, disorientation, or exhaustion. Despite these efforts, none of the digital predictions have yet matched any findings on the ground. As months pass, uncertainty becomes the investigation's harsh reality. Detectives with Task Force Horizon now spend as much time ruling out theories as they do developing new ones. Every drone clip, every satellite scan, every camera angle is scrutinized, but nothing points decisively to where Gus went. And while investigators wrestle with the silence of the desert, another battle plays out online. False narratives, AI-generated images, and fabricated clues have flooded social media, spreading confusion and false hope. Authorities have been forced to publicly debunk dozens of posts, warning that misinformation wastes critical time and adds pain to a family already drowning in grief. As one officer put it, every fake post rechases time lost that could be spent following a real lead. Despite it all, police maintain full transparency and remain committed to following every credible report. More than 400 pieces of information have been submitted since Gus vanished, from supposed sightings to environmental tips, yet none have broken the case open. There is still no confirmed evidence of abduction or third-party involvement, and that leaves investigators suspended between two heartbreaking possibilities: that Gus somehow wandered beyond reach and succumbed to the elements, or that something extraordinary and unexplained occurred that day, something outside normal understanding. Neither theory can be proven. Neither can be dismissed. For the Lamont family, that uncertainty is unbearable. With no answers, there is no closure, only the unrelenting ache of not knowing. Online, speculation continues to swirl, even as police urge restraint and empathy. Officials have reminded the public again and again that only information from South Australia Police or Task Force Horizon should be trusted. Recently, Sepol confirmed that the case has officially transitioned from a rescue operation to a recovery and investigative phase. It doesn't mean the search is over, only that the focus has changed. The mission is no longer about immediate rescue, but about finding the truth. Investigators continue to review CCTV, phone tower data, and vehicle logs from the day Gus vanished. No lead is too small, no report too minor. Task Force Horizon remains active, ready to deploy at a moment's notice if new information or technological breakthroughs emerge. Seasonal shifts, new satellite images, or environmental changes could yet reveal something that's been hidden all along. In the wider community, Gus's disappearance has become a wake-up call. Across rural Australia, families are re-evaluating child safety practices in remote areas where help can be hours away and the land itself can turn dangerous without warning. Experts are urging families to adopt GPS-based location devices and strengthen communication systems, even in regions where signal is scarce. Meanwhile, the media's role remains under scrutiny. While major outlets have respected investigative guidelines, smaller platforms and social channels often blur the line between reporting and speculation. This flood of misinformation has created waves of distraction, forcing police to fight on two fronts, one against the desert and one against digital chaos. Yet despite the silence, the unanswered questions, and the endless outback horizon, the story of Gus Lamont still grips Australia. Because behind every headline is a little boy, a family, a community, and a hope that refuses to fade. There are no arrests, no suspects, and no conclusive evidence. Only a deep, persistent mystery that sits at the heart of South Australia's wilderness, one that investigators, volunteers, and the public are determined to solve. As the days stretch into months, the question remains, where is Gus? And as long as that question goes unanswered, the search, in every form, will continue. If you found this update informative and want to stay connected as the case unfolds, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video to keep awareness alive. Every share helps keep Gus's name in the public eye and ensures that hope, even in silence, never fades.